From the Universal Tarot, 18. The Moon. The moon casts its eerie light over a vast, empty landscape. Instinctively, the two dogs react to the moon with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Drawn by the tidal pull of the moon over the watery creatures, a crayfish crawls out of a pool, symbolizing submerged fears and impulses that arise from the depths of the unconscious. The crayfish emerges at the place where a path leads from the pool, but it can't go any further. The path passes between the two towers and continues over the horizon. In the Tarot, towers and other stone structures, such as castles, symbolize stability, shelter, and the civilizing structures of man. In following the path of the moon, one must leave these constructs behind and travel under the open sky. This is frightening to some and exhilarating to others. Everything looks different by moonlight, and the dog's nervousness symbolizes our own natural ambivalence about the night. Universal message. The mystery of the night calls forth visions, imaginings, and dreams. Your intuitive awareness is heightened now. Heed its messages. From the Initiatory Tarot of the Golden Dawn. The Moon, the 18th Key, the 29th Path. The magical title of this card is The Ruler of Flux and Reflux, the Child of the Sons of the Mighty. The path of the moon runs between Malkuth and Netzach. It is the victory of the material, Venus acting through Pisces upon the cosmic elements, deceptive effect of the apparent power of material forces. The Hebrew letter attributed to this path is Kaf, which means the back of the head, just as Resh, the sun, is the head. Thus the moon card symbolizes that which is behind the head, the subconscious. On this path, the initiate must face all the phantoms that he has repressed and pushed into the back of his head. Known as the corporeal intelligence which forms every body, it is also a very sexual path, full of animal lusts and fantasies. This path is a glyph of the lower astral, overflowing with illusions and ghosts, where darkness rules by night, just as the sun has ruled by day. On this path, the initiate learns not to fear the dark, but to examine it carefully and wait for its natural conclusion, the rising of the sun. In this deck, two dogs are shown, baying and growling at the moon, while two deserted towers are behind them. From the primal waters, a crayfish starts up the winding road of evolution, alluding to the progression of physical forms. A crayfish is a low form of animal life, thus it represents low-level consciousness. It seeks the path of growth, which leads out of the darkness and into the light. The moon is waxing on the side of the pillar of mercy. A face can be seen in its center, which is half light and half dark. It is a synthesis of all moon gods and goddesses. 4 yods are falling from the moon to the earth, which refer to the 4 worlds. 4 hands to help the initiate along his difficult path. Interpretation in a tarot reading. Dissatisfaction, voluntary change as opposed to death, error, lying, falsity, deception. The whole according to whether the card is well or ill dignified, and upon which it must depend. From the Science Tarot, Chemical Spirits, 18. The Moon. All through the development of life on Earth, the moon has journeyed through the sky, pulling gently at our oceans and casting a silent influence over natural cycles. Over the millennia, many plants evolved chemical properties that allow them to interact with human physiology and consciousness. Plant species such as poppy, belladonna, and willow came to our attention because of the powerful and transformative chemical spirits naturally occurring within them. After centuries of study and experimentation, we learned to synthesize related chemicals for many uses. Morphine from poppies to ease pain, ipratropium from belladonna to treat asthma, and aspirin from willow to relieve migraine. The moon represents the realm of the subconscious and its influence on our lives. Its silver light offers only a shadowy view. We may see the world differently under its illumination. From the Tarot of Shadows, Arcana 18, Reflected Light. Arcana 18 combines the images of the scorpion and the moon. Let us start with the orb of night. Initially, there was nothing, just the beginning, and it was the sun, the embodiment of light, heat, vitality, and energy that brought life to our universe, to the earth and the grass, humans and animals. The moon, also known as the orb of the night, sends the reflected sunlight to earth. It is the moon that governs intuition, foresight, and emotions. One could say that the moon reflects the sunlight like the human mind reflects the creative light of consciousness, which sometimes is subjected to an eclipse when materialism prevails. The moon is the reflected light of our mind, while the sun is the supreme intelligence, a divine inspiration within us. Sometimes, deceived by the moon and its reflected light, we seek the truth in the material world, neglecting the primacy of the divine truth. Francis Bacon, the English philosopher, acknowledged four errors, idols, in the quest for true knowledge. 1. Idols of the tribe, idola tribus. Errors caused by the cognitive limitations of the human species. Humans exhibit a natural propensity for error, which can be mitigated, but not fully invalidated, by education. 2. Idols of the cave, idola specus. Bacon described them as peculiar institution, mental or bodily, of each individual, and also its education, habit, and accident. Essentially, idola specus are prejudices, shared assumptions that arise by the participation in a particular culture. Bacon's view is strongly suggestive of Plato's allegory of the cave, according to which sensory knowledge is mistaken for the truth. Contrary to the idols of the tribe, idola specus can be triggered by education. 3. Idols of the marketplace, idola phori. Perceptual deception caused by the imperfect correspondences between verbal signs, words as definitions, and the real things or ideas they represent. These are known to occur mostly at places of social gatherings, such as markets, squares, and educational institutions. 4. Idols of the theater, idola theatri. In Bacon's words, they are idols which have immigrated into men's minds from the various dogmas of philosophies and also from wrong laws of demonstration. This refers to philosophical and/or scientific theories not diligently examined, thus creating a false understanding of reality that eventually becomes a doctrine, leading to a staging of the truth rather than revealing the truth itself. The myths associated with Scorpio always contain a reference to the great hunter Orion, whose beauty had seduced Artemis. Orion once boasted that there was no animal he couldn't kill. Hera, Zeus's wife, sent for him a scorpion that no earthborn could kill. The scorpion stung the hunter on the heel, causing his death. Hera put the scorpion in the heavens. Zeus, at the request of a desperate Artemis, placed Orion also in the sky. While Orion is considered the most beautiful constellation, the constellation of Scorpio includes Antares, the most sinister star in the sky. The interaction between Scorpio and Orion symbolizes the eternal conflict between light and dark. Appearing as two opposites in the sky, they pursue each other relentlessly. Card meaning: wrangling, breakup, prejudice, errors, false choice, ineffectiveness, inflexibility, failure due to fear of change, misconceptions, valetudinarianism, impressionability, soul searching, introspection, phobias, susceptibility to false fears, imagination, and illusion. From the Osho Zen Tarot. 18. Past Lives. The hands of existence form the shape of the female genitals, the opening of the cosmic mother. Revealed within are many images, faces from other times. While it might be entertaining to fantasize about famous past lives, it is just a distraction. The real point is to see and understand the karmic patterns of our lives, and the roots in an endless repetitive cycle that traps us in unconscious behavior. The two rainbow lizards on either side represent knowing and not knowing. They are the guardians of the unconscious, making sure that we are prepared for a vision that might otherwise be shattering. A glimpse into the eternity of our existence is a gift, and understanding the function of karma in our lives is not something that can be grasped at will. This is a wake-up call. The events in your life are trying to show you a pattern as ancient as the journey of your own soul. The child can become conscious only if in his past life he has meditated enough, has created enough meditative energy to fight with the darkness that death brings. One simply is lost in an oblivion and then suddenly finds a new womb and forgets completely about the old body. This is a discontinuity. This darkness, this unconsciousness creates the discontinuity. The East has been working hard to penetrate these barriers, and 10,000 years' work has not been in vain. Everybody can penetrate to the past life or many past lives, but for that you have to go deeper into your meditation, for two reasons. Unless you go deeper, you cannot find the door to another life. Secondly, you have to be deeper in meditation because if you find the door of another life, a flood of events will come into mind. It is hard enough even to carry one life.